Hello, novice reef Hello, novice reef keepers. How are you today? Today, yes, it has been that long. It is a 12-month update on the Salinity Guardian. So I've been using this unit now for 12 months. The first unit I did get, the probe was faulty. I had lots and lots of issues with it. I wasn't happy at the start. They did assure me the unit was a good unit, so I did give it another go. They sent me out another probe, which now I've been using for around the 12-month mark. I have never calibrated the unit, so I've always tested it week by week against the Milwaukee. The Milwaukee always says 36, this always said 36.5 or 36.7, and the Milwaukee wasn't capable of, it's always 36 or 37 and it rounds up and down, so I guess that's probably pretty accurate. It's around the mark that the Milwaukee says. So what we'll do is we'll calibrate today and we'll see how much it's out. I'll show you some history of what the unit's been doing over the past 9-10 months, maybe if it lets me go back that far. So yeah, Salinity Guardian.
So this is after I calibrated it. Just to show you some history. 36.5. So there we go. That's through back to March. So I did have when I was on holidays, I did have my skimmer overflow. Over time, I have built it up because I do like that 36.5 range. So you can see there is a bit of fluctuation, which we'll talk about in a minute. I think it's mainly just to do with temperature. But yeah, that's a bit of the history.
To calibrate the device, you need the Salinity Guardian solution. So I did go get a brand new 35 ppt. The one I did have, because I haven't calibrated in about 12 months, was sitting on the shelf for a bit while. So I thought I would get a new one. They're relatively cheap. The hardest part and the most crucial thing I think I can negatively say about this unit is the way that it changes quite drastically with temperature. Now, I don't know the science behind it, but obviously there's a technical reason why they use the temperature and salinity. I'm guessing it's a lot like why your water has to be 24 to mix your salt for the checkers. But the problem with that is in winter, it's quite stable, but I don't run a chiller on this unit. So in summer, my temperature would fluctuate all the way up to 27, 27.5, maybe sometimes 28 on a 40-degree day with the aircon on, and then all the way back down to 23.5 to 24. I'll show you some videos now. I'll show you some pictures now. And as you can see from those pictures, every time it even went down 0.1 or even up 0.1, the salinity changed by 0.1 as well. So what I found was the unit, if it went up, my tank went up 2 degrees, which isn't ideal, and it shouldn't really move. When it go up to 2 degrees, my salinity would also change by 2 ppt, so it would go from 26 to 28, and wouldn't exactly be stable. I guess the best thing to do is if you're doing so much automation and want to use the Salinity Guardian, it would be to tune in your system to not have any fluctuation in temperature. But run your tank at 25, and if it goes up 25.5, a little bit less, the fluctuation isn't noticeable. I think the hardest part with calibrating this unit with this 35 ppt is it also says that the liquid must be at 25 degrees. That is very, very difficult without knowing when you put it close to your body, or you put it in a bit of warm water, or you put it in the tank. If your tank isn't exactly 25 degrees, you put it in because your tank's 23.5, or warm this to 23.5, you put it on your body, it warms it to 30. You're there sitting there with the thermostat putting it in to exactly get 25. What I do is I put it on my body for a little bit. I put the thermostat tester in there, thermometer, and it would tell me that it was 25.8 or 26.5, and I'll leave the thermometer in there and I'll sit there and watch it till it counts all the way down to 25. That is very time consuming and annoying. I'd then quickly run to the unit and put everything in to calibrate it before it would drop temperature further and make it more inaccurate. So that is the negative part of this unit. I think if you don't have a stable temperature in your tank, this unit will annoy you. And I also think that they need to do something to help us with this. I don't know what they can do. Maybe they can put a little like a little sticker there, so when it gets to the right temperature, changes or something. But that's just a bit annoying. That has to be exactly 25. Apart from that, the unit's been running for 12 months. I did calibrate it. The difference was not much. It was about 0.4 or 0.5 difference. So over a year, wasn't noticeable. On the Milwaukee, I test every week, every 2 weeks, and then I tested every month when I got more confident in this device. And it would always say, 35, or it was 36, or it was 34, and the device was always saying pretty close to that. Like when it was saying 36 on the Milwaukee, it was saying 36.4. On the Salinity Guardian, when it was saying 35, it was 34.9 or 35.5. So it was always close. And the reason I started to trust this device a lot more than the Milwaukee was the Milwaukee would round up or down. So if it was 36.5, it might round down to 36, it might round up to 37. That's why if you keep clicking the unit to retest the same sample of water, sometimes it'll fluctuate 36 to 37 because it's doing that. It's not capable of doing the 0.1. So that's the positive parts of this unit, is it's held the test of time. I've now had it on 12 months. If you watch my setup video, it hasn't. I don't even reckon it really needed to be calibrated, but I did anyway. My issue is just the temperature thing. So it runs great in winter when the heater and the thermo control is keeping it exact. In summer, I realised I did have a bit of trouble with temperature. I probably should put a chiller on this, and I did notice that my salinity was changing with my temperature. So I just kept that in mind. If my temperature was going up, my salinity was going up, I didn't worry about it too much. And then a good thing also about this unit is when I was away on holidays, I found that the unit would actually tell me a lot more than I thought it did. So at one stage when I was on holidays, my salinity dropped from 36.5 and then it said 35.9. Someone came over to feed the fish. I got him to send me a video of what was going on underneath, and my skimmer was overflowing. For some reason it went nuts, probably caught something and started overflowing. So that alerted me to an issue that I could fix quite easily. I guess it could tell you if your top-ups got stuck on, things like that, because it's quite a drastic change. You will get an alert. It will say, hey, your salinity's changed quite quickly. So that's a real positive in this unit. And the durability, it hasn't been much trouble. I've cleaned it. I've obviously looked after the unit, cleaned it every month, just with a bit of water, just blasting off debris, things like that. It's been great. And also another little trick about it is it shows the temperature on the actual thing. I'll show you that now. So if you don't have a thermo view, you can actually just use that to check your temperature when you're away or something, and you're scared that your tank might get hot, or you haven't put the aircon on, or the heater might malfunction. You can actually check through there. It's not the best way because you can't control anything, but at least you've got a way of checking temperature within the app.
So a little bit of an example of what I mean by how difficult it is to get the water exactly 25 is I've got the thermostat from the Salinity Guard in here, and it told me that it was about 36. So the way I warmed it up was just by keeping the solution close to my body, so it is a bit hot, a bit warm, about 26. So I do want it to be 25, so I'm going to keep that in there and keep watching the app until it slowly comes down and I see 25. At the moment it's telling me that it's 35.3, so that should climb up. I reckon it's about 0.7 out over the course of a year, which is pretty good. I probably should have done a bit often, but we'll see where it's at.
Salinity Guardian.